think they have the air on today in here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you come
Yeah.
down earlier?
No, but he forgot to appoint it the last meeting, waiting until it started.
Now, veterans, that's part of
Small town, you couldn't wait for that stuff.
I know that. Dwayne and I go to those meetings.
Y'all go,
We have a tag team.
y'all go way back.
There we go, way back.
Well, they gave, Ken gave me a list of
Okay.
extra bins, you know.
You ready? Is it time? It's time. Good afternoon. I'd like to call our meeting to order. Thank you all so much for being here today. Kim, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Austin.
Present.
Ms. Quetch.
Here.
Mr. Webb.
Here.
Vice Mayor Anderson.
Here.
And Mayor Pilkey.
Here. Now I'd like to ask Vice Mayor Anderson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we need to approve our agenda. I will accept a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Ms. Quetch, a second by Vice Mayor Anderson. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Austin.
Aye.
Ms. Quetch.
Aye.
Mr. Webb.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
And Mayor Pilkey.
Aye. Today, for public comments, we have one person signed up. Mr. Copenhaver, if you'd like to come and speak to us, we'd love to have you.
Hi, Eddie Copenhaver, 205 Preston Street, Abingdon, Virginia, 24210. Here again to speak about the flooding on Preston Street and Hagee Street. It's come up that there was always flooding on Hagee Street. And I'm not really sure that that's true. Go back in before 1996, there was a gentleman who lived beside of me named Mr. John Reedy. And I remember Mr. John Reedy because he didn't believe that man had landed on the moon. And, that was just so amazing to me that he didn't believe that man had landed on the moon. But somewhere around 1996, he died, and his house was sold. And an engineering firm came to the town, and they wanted to move their offices into this old house. So there was the necessary meetings, and there was supposed to be 2 people, no more than 2 cars ever to be there to do their engineering business. Well, as soon as they got into it, they decided that the building had been on fire, and they had to tear it completely down and start over. So now what you have is what is Atlanta's Hair design now. In 2010, the building was bought by the United Way, and the town attorney was on their board, and they were in a really good growth mode, so they had to have more parking lots. So they put in 2 parking lots and asphalted it, and kind of changed the whole front of the way that the lot was laid out. I believe that maybe that's where that we ended up with the flooding we've got now. When they leveled that out and brought the yard, I guess, back in, I think that's maybe where the flooding came from, because I know it wasn't there when I was a kid. So anyway, and a lot of stuff got done. Several things went on. There was some property had to be rezoned because they needed more space, and like I said, the town attorney was on it, and it was just, they got pretty much whatever they asked for. And in 2018, the building was, I guess United Way moved out, and Atlanta's Hair Design moved in, and they're good neighbors. But there's, I just want y'all to know that it didn't always flood. Whatever they tell you, it did not always flood. It's something that's new that's happened since '96. And that's way longer than I like to think about. But anyway, y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. No more public comments? Then we will move forward. We don't have any proclamations on today's agenda, but we do have a public hearing for a proposed right-of-way and permanent easement for private utilities for William King Museum of Art, a Virginia Non-Stock Corporation, on town-owned property known as Academy Drive, located at or near 415 Academy Drive Northwest, consisting of 25 feet in length, 15 feet in width, 7.5 feet on each side of the center line, more or less, centered on coordinates 26.71007777 to 81-9870557. So I will welcome our senior engineering technician, Inspector Hegan-Gill, to explain this to us.
Good afternoon, Honorable Council. For those that you don't know me, I'm Hagan Gill. I work in the engineering and building department here. So just some background. Also, excuse my allergies, please. Some background. The design firm Thompson & Litton submitted an early site package for review for the William King Museum of Art for the placement of some required utilities. These utilities will be necessary for a proposed addition, which is currently in design and nearing plan submission. Due to site conditions, the only feasible location for the utility pad or stormwater facilities requires utility lines be installed crossing under Academy Drive. The museum asked that a permanent easement for installation and maintenance of utilities be granted, and also so early site work may begin. As you can see in the packet, Exhibit B, Academy Drive loops around the entire northern side of the property, and it divides the main property into several sections. So town staff recommends approving this resolution so a permanent easement may be granted. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me, or Burwell has some staff attending the meeting here today if there's any in-depth questions that I cannot answer.
Thank you.
Thank
No
you.
questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then I'll take a motion to, we have to open the, so I have to open the public hearing. And then I will accept a motion. I'll move to open the public hearing, then we will accept a motion to accept this proposed right-of-way.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal.
Oh, sorry. Does anybody have, I am also suffering from allergies and my brain is not functioning properly. I apologize as well. And I may start sneezing any minute. So I've opened the public hearing. Does anybody have anything to discuss or add to the public hearing? Okay, if there is no discussion of the public hearing, then I will close the public hearing and accept a motion to accept this proposed right-of-way and permanent easement.
So moved.
I'll second.
So there is a motion by Mr. Austin and a second by Vice Mayor Anderson. Is there any discussion on this issue? If there is no discussion, Kim, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Austin.
Aye.
Ms. Quetch.
Aye.
Mr. Webb.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Mayor Gilliam.
Aye. So we have accepted that proposal. The second public hearing we have today is an ordinance to repeal, amend, and reenact Chapter 66, the taxation, property tax exemption for elderly and handicapped homeowners and qualified veterans, totally and permanently handicapped property owners. And we will have Town Manager Mike Cochran to provide us with a summary of this issue.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Recently, the county had changed their criteria, and we try to keep ours in line with their criteria. That way, the citizens can have an expectation that ours are the same as theirs. And Tammy had done some analysis for us, and basically, with the current tax rolls that we have, these additions or modifications to the tax rolls would cost about $2,000 additionally to the town of what we currently bring in. The key is that it's the people that are in need of relief, it will provide relief for them. So that's the Reader's Digest of it. Yeah.
Did you say it was a total of 2,000?
Total of 2,000. So right now it's about 3,000. This is about 2,000 more, so it'll be about 5,000 in total as far as
Okay.
breaks go. And again, it's a shifting roll based on the population. So if you get different.
Yes, so I went ahead and looked at what we did last year, comparing what we did this year, and went ahead and calculated it if you go ahead and approve that. It's gonna be $2,442.22, And that's going to be additional 13 new applications that will be able to help with the residents that need the assistance.
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions?
Open the public hearing.
Then I will open the public hearing. If there is any discussion,
Thank you.
questions, comments? Okay, if there are none, I will close the public hearing and I will accept a motion to accept this ordinance, to accept this ordinance.
I move that we repeal the existing Chapter 66 taxation portion as set forth on the agenda, that we amend that ordinance in compliance with what is contained within the council packet, and we reenact it and waive the second reading of that resolution.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Austin and a second by Mr. Webb. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Austin.
Aye.
Ms. Quetch.
Aye.
Mr. Webb.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
And Mayor Piller.
Aye. Okay. Now we have a resolution for a proposed right-of-way and a permanent easement for the William King, the private utilities. So if there's no more discussion on this matter, then we can accept a motion to accept this resolution.
I understood we had already done that.
I did too.
With the public. hearing.
Okay, so yes, so we don't need to do
We're
that?
just a little out.
Okay, yes, so it's on the agenda, so we will move on, and we waive the second reading of the other ordinance, so we don't have to discuss that any further, so we can move right along to new business. So, on our new business today, we have the consideration of the allocation to the Veterans Advisory Board from the council contingency. And the way I understand this is, they had some extra needs at the end of the year, and we have some extra money in our council contingency that we have not spent. Donna, would you like to take that one on?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we contribute $2,500 or move out of council contingency to the Veterans Advisory Board.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? So there's a motion by Ms. Webb, by Ms. Quetch, a second by Mr. Webb. Is there any discussion or questions? There is none. Kim, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Austin.
Aye.
Ms. Quetch.
Aye.
Mr. Webb.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
And Mayor Piller.
Aye. Okay, that is wonderful.
I would
Ne-
like to point out, Madam Mayor, while we're on that point, I know, and we've had a great deal of discussion in the past about the in-kind contributions that we make to the park, Veterans
Yes.
Park. Of course, Vice Mayor Andrews and myself are on that board too. And I know that they have some needs, and I will just say that having approved that, I hope in the future that we'll consider some donation to them from that contingency.
I think that's a wonderful idea, Wayne. You know, I'm glad that we got the banner poles back up, and one thing that I was just thinking in mind, I don't really know what the council thinks about this, but, you know, the banner poles are back up. We've got our Veterans Day coming up next month, and I don't know if it would be, Memorial, excuse me. I don't know if it would be a kind gesture for us to maybe see what we can do about maybe getting a banner put up on the banner pole for that Memorial Day celebration at the Veterans Park. I think that would be a wonderful idea.
Yeah, we've got a list of things that we're gonna be putting those up for, and I'll bring that to you as either part of the budget or as a resolution, so that everything can be identified as what we're putting up. And I believe, so like, one of the things we're running into is, some of the ones that we have are dry rotted, because they've been stored up a little while. So as long as we're able to put stuff up, now, we have an inventory of the banners that we currently have. If someone has a banner that is something that we're gonna advertise, which would be one of those types of events, that would be good. We can put those up. What we, as part of the discussion is, we wanna have things that the town is sponsoring, so it's not gonna be a commercial event or a single event.
Yeah.
But in that case, that was one of the purposes in putting the things back up, so,
Thank you, Mike.
yeah. but again, it all depends, because I think they actually purchased one which is much wider than what we have.
Yes.
So that's meant for the yard or the grass.
Yes,
But
up
there-
by the boot, I think, is where that one goes.
Yeah, there's ones that are purpose-built for that, because they can't be any more than 35 feet, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but if they have one, we can certainly put it up there.
I mean, that's something we'll talk about when we
Can
go
do
through
that.
it.
Yes,
We can do.
Okay. So if there's no more discussion on that matter, then, we already voted on that, correct? So we can move forward to the consideration of the Abington Town Council monthly town hall meeting request form. And, that form is in our packet, and, we discussed this at our previous meeting about having forums, following our, mid-month meetings in which citizens can come and discuss current issues with the council, and we can interact with them. So I would like to accept a motion to accept this form.
I think we'd like to have a little bit of discussion
Okay.
there, because we had somebody to contact me on the fact that, you know, they felt like it was being redundant to even have it when we're in charge of our own agenda, that we delay them coming back after they presented 3 months later. I guess the point I want to make is when y'all put this in on the form, can you sort of explain why and the reason for it, and if there would be consideration, and I'm sure there would be, because we do get to set the agenda, there'd be consideration if it needed to come back to council before 3 months. You want to
Yeah, so absolutely.
expand on that?
Yeah, so part of it is, most things that happen come up like during the month when y'all someone contacts y'all contact me, we
Right.
get the stuff squared away. And this will be, if there's an issue that has come up, or something that comes up, most everything that comes up gets dealt with before it even, like, it doesn't last very long. So if there is an item that's redundant, or if it's just something that we don't control, it would be, the whole idea is that it's not something that just comes up every single time. And if there is something that isn't fully addressed, then obviously we can bring it back up.
It also says in here that within 3 months of the first presentation, except by a majority vote of the council members present and voting. So it looks like that there's a way, if it's something we feel like hasn't been dealt with, then if 3 or more of us feel like it needs to be discussed again, then we will discuss it again. And I also think that, that's just so that we give everybody a fair, I mean, I'm thinking about how you all probably crafted this, but I'm assuming it's just so if we're only going to have a few at each meeting, then that gives everybody a chance if they haven't been considered before. But I'm guessing that was the thought process, but I'm open to any suggestions to change it.
Well, my question is this. I was the one made the motion at the last meeting. And, of course, we'll approve those minutes at our next meeting. But I don't recall saying anything in my motion about any 3-month rule as is set out in this proposal here. I guess my first question is, where did that come from? It was not in my motion.
Yeah, so, I mean, we did some research with the Clerks Association, and that's basically where the content of it came from. And so we're not the only one in the state to have a forum of some sort, so we try to grab that from other jurisdictions. I mean, it's open to interpretation, whatever we want to make it. The idea is that we're trying to follow the guidelines what other places have done, so that we don't have something that's.
Well, again, my point is
Yeah.
this. I haven't heard anything about it since the last meeting. No one consulted, called, or said, hey, Wayne, you made a motion about this public forum, and we're thinking about a 3-month rule, but that
Okay.
wasn't in your motion. What do you think about it? And
I got
I
the
would
motion.
think that would be appropriate
All right.
if we were going to add something like that to it.
All right. Yeah, we can certainly modify that, yeah. Yeah.
So the way I see this is we have a couple of options. We can approve this form with the removal of the 3-month rule. we can wait until our next meeting to approve this form and discuss changes in the meantime and further refine the process. Or we can approve the form as is. What is your pleasure? What do you think?
And one of the things, sorry, Wayne, to keep in mind is just sort of set the expectation of what this is gonna be, that it's, you know, it is a structured process and council's in control of those things, and just because you fill out a form doesn't necessarily mean that that's gonna be something that's come up, or if staff has handled something or council has made a decision that it's not gonna be,
Excuse me.
I think the point of that is it's not just a recurring thing where you've gotten, somebody gave you the
Excuse
answer
me.
that you didn't want, and so you try and try it again, at more bites at the apple, so to speak. So I think that's the main point of the form, is just to sort of set an expectation that it isn't just an open First Amendment public forum, that it is a structured process, and that there are, you know, considerations of those things.
Excuse me.
Bless you. But, I mean, you're all right. Council sets the agenda, and you guys can decide outside of the form what you're gonna do or not. But I think that's just to let the public know that, reiterating what's already true.
Well, I
But
think
it's y'all's
that-
form.
I think the concern that the person who notified me was that they would have to wait 3 months if there was something that they needed to, you know, I think that was the point. But I see your point as, we're just not gonna ignore it. If it's important, we're gonna, you know, put it on the agenda and, you know, and discuss it.
I would hope if it's an emergency, they don't wait till the open discussion
Yeah.
point to
Right.
come, you know, I
Right.
mean.
That's kind of the point, is a lot of the things that come up mid-month, someone will contact me and then they get addressed mid-month or whenever the issue comes up. It generally doesn't languish for very long.
If I may say something too, I think, speaking with some of the fellow clerks, and the reason that this was in here is sometimes it's a situation we know nothing about. And the 3 months would allow them, is what they were discussing, enough time to, you know, investigate it, talk about it before then. So it wasn't that I was trying to be disrespectful to Mr. Austin. This was simply a forum for us to try to get out there for discussion. That's.
Well, I think the 3-month rule goes back, it's something that's already been discussed, and whether or not it can be brought back rather than its initial appearance on the agenda part. And I agree, I mean, we're in control of our own agenda. We can decide, just like it says, I mean, you know, it says that a majority vote of the council members present and voting can have it added back in less than the 3 months. I don't know that we need the 3 months, but I don't have a real strong feeling.
And I think that this is something new to the council, and we're, you know, Kim tried to fill out other clerks, you know, and find out how they've handled it, and we're probably gonna have to make some adjustments along the way if we want to make this forum a success.
Right.
So, I feel strongly that whatever we vote on today, we have the ability to change.
Would this be something then perhaps in the vein of what you're speaking, that we would want to not have the 3-month rule, and then as things go along, if it presents a problem, we could adopt a different rule for
I
that?
think that's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna have to kind of play with this, and we're gonna have to
Yeah.
do it a few times and see what works and see what doesn't work, and kind of make, you know, not make it up as we go, but we're gonna have to make some adjustments. So, you know, and so that's what, you know, I think if we want to approve the form without the 3-month rule, if somebody wants to make a motion to do that, then we can, and then if we need to amend this form as we go, we certainly can do so. So it's whatever you guys want to do, if, whatever sort of motion you would like to make.
I don't have a strong opinion either way. I'm kind of like Wayne. I can take it or leave it, so if somebody wants it without, I'm okay with that.
I don't either. I'm excited to see where this takes us. I think it's going to be very interesting, and I look forward to hearing from our citizens. I think that approaching this in a thoughtful manner, and also knowing that we can adjust our course as needed, will make it a success. But everybody's going to have to be patient, I think, and willing to go with the flow until we get this process down.
Agreed fully.
So do we want to have a motion to delete the 3-month rule from this form, or do we want to have a motion to accept the form with the 3-month rule?
I want to make a motion that we approve the form as provided to us with the deletion of the 3-month rule and give consideration to that as we move along and see how things go.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Austin. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, a second by Ms. Quetch. Is there any further discussion on this matter? If there's no discussion, Kim, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Austin?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
And Mayor Fielder?
Aye. And I'd just like to say, I think that the discussion we just had was very constructive, and I think that this is exactly what we're supposed to do, is figure out how to make things work and talk about it and, you know, make things work as we go along. So I'm excited to see where this leads us. We have no old business. Do we have miscellaneous business and communications from the town manager today?
Just real briefly, as most of you have driven down Cumming Street, the banner poles are finally up. It's the longest 1-month project I've ever seen. But they are up and they're new and improved. They're actually a nicer model. They'll take 2 banners, which is really nice. And then if you notice that they're squares, they actually have a nicer look to them, I think. And the Main Street flooding project, that is going out to bid. So that is super exciting, as is Whites Mill Road. That's going out to bid as well for the sanitary sewer. And then those of you that are aware, the barter is back in full swing. And part of one of the things we were doing for them is helping out with their roof. And that is 75% done. So we're working with them to try and not hammer when they're actually having a performance. But that is in process, about 3/4 of the way done. So those things are all set. And this weekend, well, the mayor's gonna speak this weekend, but this weekend is we've got Earth Day. Got the volunteer, so there's a couple things coming up this weekend. But anyway, I'm just glad we finally got at least one of the projects done. The longest thing. But, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any council member reports?
A couple of things that I'd like to mention. First of all, as I said earlier, Vice Mayor Anderson and myself are on the Veterans Park Board. We've had several meetings regarding the Memorial Day that we will be having and the program that we will be having. So want to be sure and invite everyone out to that. It's on Memorial Day at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, yeah.
And so everyone is certainly invited to that. There will be some tree dedications, additional tree dedications at that time. And I think a very good program, so hope everyone will turn out for that. Second of all, to follow along with what Mr. Cochran said a moment ago regarding all of the festivities and barter and everything, I had a couple of telephone calls about, and I'm a big proponent of barter. I'm not saying this negatively or critically, but we had traffic backed up past the Cummings Street intersection today. And have had a couple of times, and people are trying to get to work, and I've had some irate calls about that.
I'm aware, and we remember that this morning. They're not supposed to. I let Katie know, and hopefully they'll work that out, because that's one of the reasons this road is this way.
Yes.
So I think it's just a matter, they had some out-of-town tour buses. We just need to reinforce with the tour buses and them. But
And use the side streets.
Correct,
and-
yeah.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cochran. I knew you were one step ahead of me.
Well, I tried. I got an idea.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's all I have to
thanks.
report, Mayor.
I attended Arbor Day Friday, April the 5th at Abingdon Elementary School with the second graders, the whole second grade class out there. Kevin Sigmund, the 2 ladies, I'm sorry that I don't know their names, but I'm just gonna call them the Abingdon Flower Ladies, were out there as well too. That was really a great time with the kids. Mike Cochran was out there as well too, and it just gives the kids something to look forward to. They can come back 15, 20 years from now and say to their kids or to somebody in their family, hey, we planted this tree and it turned out to be a big success, and I was really pleased with that. And just to let you know that we are 23 years in on being Tree City USA community, so I'm really proud of that as well too. I'm gonna brag on Kyle Pollard in the rec center. A Girl Scout troop reached out to me, Troop 161, a couple of weeks ago. They didn't have a meeting place. They usually meet at Watauga, but it's the end of the school year, and there's a lot of things going on after school, and these girls didn't have a place to meet, and I didn't really have an answer for it, so I reached out to Kyle Pollard, and we were gonna try to see if maybe we could get him up at the rec center, and Kyle came back to me with something even better than that, because the meetings weren't gonna be able, they didn't have a spot at the rec center until like 6 or 6:30, and with these girls that are in the Cub Scouts, you know, or I said Cub Scouts, excuse me, Girl Scouts, I was a Cub Scout. You know, 6 o'clock's a little bit late for kids that young, so Kyle, being Kyle, actually got them a spot over at the Meadows in the concession stand area, and they will continue to do that for the remainder of the year. And I just want to say that is really looking out for the community. Big shout out to Kyle and everyone up at the rec center. I really appreciate that. That really goes a long way with me. Another thing, like we were saying, with all the activities that are going on this Saturday, there will be something going on at Watauga Elementary School as well. Farmers Market will be going on. The Information Center, there'll be a lot of stuff with Earth Day going on there, and if anyone has the time or just wants to get out and be part of the town of Adnan, that would be the day to get out and show your love for the town of Adnan.
And I'm going to jump right on that and say that we are having our 2nd annual Washington County Day of Service on Saturday, so there are volunteer opportunities for everyone. There are things as simple as packing snack bags for nursing home residents, and things as labor intensive as painting and digging gardens. So whatever your activity level is and whatever your type of volunteer work you're interested is, there are plenty of things to do. We're also accepting donations of non-perishable food, and I know that for the snack bags or for the activity bags, they're accepting puzzle books and snacks and other things that might be used by nursing home residents. So if there's anybody in the community who would like to participate in the day of service, 9 a.m. at the Coombs Center, kickoff on Saturday morning, and then we're going to disperse from there. And there are projects, lots of the different schools are doing projects either on that day. The Donuts and Dirt is in conjunction
Yes.
with it
Yes.
at Watauga, and we have lots of students from Abingdon High School and other schools that are helping, and then also lots of the schools are doing their own projects either on the day or separate from the day. So hopefully soon we'll be able to have a count of hours spent volunteering and a total of ways that we have helped make our community a better place. So I'd like to encourage everybody to, like Mr. Anderson said, take advantage of all the really nice things. And I think this year it might not rain.
Let's hope.
Yes. Anybody else?
Just real quickly, Kevin Signet will be upset with me if I didn't remind people, Earth Day Saturday, please go by Sea Tree Commission, they've got some free goodies, that'll be great. And then the following weekend is our tree giveaway. So in conjunction with being at Tree City USA and the Tree Commission and Kevin's great work with the town, I think we have 1,400 trees we're giving away. So if you've already signed up, now they are sold out at this point in time, even though they're free, I'm gonna say they're sold out. They're booked, but if you signed up for that, make sure and go get your 4 trees.
Okay. Now we have some appointments to boards and committees. And we can take these on as a single vote, or we can take them on as a, and go into closed session.
I think it's all reappointments
Except for one, and then I think it looks like we just have one application.
And we can put him on there, and that'll be full.
Okay, so then we have a reappointment of Ed Fuqua to the Board of Building Code Appeals. He's eligible to serve an additional term. For Sustain Abingdon, we have the reappointment of Elizabeth Hill and the reappointment of Tom McMullen, who are both eligible to serve additional terms, and then an appointment to fill an expired position. And it looks like we have one application in our packet, and that is Grayson Toller. And we could appoint Grayson to fill that expired position. And then for the tree commission, we have the reappointment of Greg Mead, who is eligible to serve an additional term.
And all of these people were notified and asked if they wanted to?
Yes,
Okay.
well, the department heads, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The chair.
Okay, so if it's your pleasure, then we can accept a motion to make all of these appointments at one time. Or we can do it separately.
I'll make that motion, all that you just said.
Okay.
Reappoint, and then appoint,
Grayson Tobler.
yeah.
Okay,
To Sustain Avenue.
wonderful. So we have a motion by Ms. Quetch, a second by Mr. Webb. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, Kim, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Austin.
Aye.
Ms. Quetch.
Aye.
Mr. Webb.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
And Mayor Pillion.
Aye. So, we got a lot done in a short amount of time.
We did.
And that concludes our meeting. I will call us adjourned for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.